12 chairs. I set them out in a circle that's more of an egg, and I make the coffee, strong enough that a man can lie to himself about why he's here. You never saw this room. Church basement, folding chairs, a radiator that knocks like somebody's trying to get in. I get here 50 minutes early because I'm the one with the key. 9 years I've had it. You know what a man does to get trusted with a key like that? Nothing. He keeps showing up until somebody hands it to him. That's most of what I know. Here's what the room is, since you never saw one. Men come in who broke something. That's the whole membership rule. Nobody performs it. Nobody claps. A man says his first name and how his week went, and sometimes the week takes the whole hour, and everybody lets it take what it takes. The 12th chair stays empty most weeks. I put it out anyway. 9 years I couldn't have told you why. I can tell you now. You know what I did? You did it first, so I'll go fast. I drank through that boy's childhood like it was a job I hated. I made the mornings you made, where a kid learns to read a man before he gets through the screen door. Both of us learned that at the same kitchen table, 20 years apart. The winter he turned 15, her mother changed the locks. I wanted on the record that I didn't fight it. I stood on the porch with a duffel bag and said, "Tell him I'll call," and then I didn't, because there wasn't a version of my voice that was safe to hand him. That's the version that left. Remember him. He matters later. I got fixed, and I came back. Here's what coming back gets you. Birthdays, short ones, 4-minute phone calls that end on logistics. He calls me Ray, has since he was 20. I answer to it. A man answers to whatever his kid throws him. He said it once, the whole thing in my kitchen. Arms folded, your jaw on his face. He came back fixed, and I cannot forgive the version that left. One sentence. He's had years to work on it, and it's one sentence. I stood there and took it, because he cannot forgive a repair he didn't witness, and the repair happened in a church basement he's never set foot in. I'd never been so proud of him. That's the kind of father I was by then. Now the part I never told anybody in the room. 1994, you were 2 years sober, I was 26, and you stood in my doorway in the rain with your hat in your hands. You didn't ask to come in. You just stood there and let me look at you, which I now know is the hardest thing a man like us can offer. And I said it. You can't come back fixed. I don't know that man. And I closed the door. You died 3 years later, sober. I checked. I checked like it was a debt. You'd met Michael exactly once. He was 8 months old. You held him about a minute in my hallway, because I wouldn't ask you in and you wouldn't push. I gave him your face, Frank. He stands in doorways with it. He folds his arms with it. There isn't a Tuesday long enough to put that back. Here's what you do with a door you can't reopen. You open other ones. 9 years of Tuesdays, I make the coffee, I set the chairs, I drive men home who shouldn't be driving, and I answer the phone at midnight from guys I barely know, because the only qualification is being the man who picks up. Nobody assigned me this. No judge. No list. Nobody keeping a book. I opened the door for strangers because I closed it on you. Strangers is who the door fits now. My week went fine, Frank. It went fine for 9 years. Tuesday, 4:40. I'm laying out chairs, and the phone goes. It's Michael, and his voice is wrong, and a father gets the whole story from the wrongness. The job's gone. A month now. He didn't tell anybody. He's been sleeping in his truck behind the rest stop on 9, the one with the good lights because he's my son, and even drowning, he does the research. Sarah took the baby to her sister's. He says it flat, the way you say weather you caused. Then he says, don't make a thing of it. I'm out front. 30 years old, and the last number on his list is a church basement, and a man he calls Ray. You'd know how that lands. You stood in it. I go up and open the door of the church, and there he is in the rain. Smaller than I keep him in my head. I carry a big man around, and my son keeps showing up medium. Wet through, duffel bag. Everything he owns in one bag. I know the weight of that bag, Frank. I packed it myself. And here's the thing that took my legs. He's standing in a doorway in the rain with your face on, not asking to come in. Just letting me look at him. I've been on both sides of this door now, and the looking is the whole offering. Nobody taught him that. He brought it with him. It's yours. He says, you got a coffee or what? Downstairs he's reading the room, the circle, the urn, 12 chairs, one of them pulled out. And shame does what shame does. It grows teeth. He says, so this is where you've been getting fixed. And then he says it. You can't just be fixed. I don't know that man. Word for word. My sentence. The one I gave you in 94 with the rain running off your hat. I never told him that sentence. I never told him that story. He built it himself out of spare parts because it's ours. It's been waiting in this family like a tool on a peg, and every man of us knows where it hangs. 26 years old again. Both of us. Darren, here's what I had available, and I want it on the record that I had it loaded. I had, now you know how it feels? I had, say it again, standing in his shoes. I had 30 years of receipts, and there is no softer target than a proud man in a borrowed basement. It would all have been true, that's the worst of it. Then I heard that door in 94 and how quiet it was. That's the thing nobody tells you. The worst doors close quiet. So I said what you needed somebody to say to you in 1994. Come in out of the rain. I know, Frank, he was already in. I said it anyway. Some sentences aren't for the weather. The men came in at 7, and not one of them made a thing of it. That's the training. A stranger in the circle is just a man who got there before you did. Big Mike poured him a coffee without asking how he takes it, which is how a man knows he's been handed something. And Michael sat in the 12th chair. 9 years I set that chair out and never knew who it was for. He didn't say one word all night. Didn't have to. That's the first rule, and nobody told him. He just knew. But he listened. And here's what he heard, Frank. He heard other men say, my part. A guy from the paving crew said the silence with his daughter was a thing he was still doing, not a thing that happened. Walt, 71, said getting fixed is a gift you give yourself, and nobody owes you a parade for stopping the bleeding. I couldn't have said any of it. He'd have heard his father. From strangers, he heard the truth. That's what the room is for. I took him home. Couch, blanket, the good pillow I pretended was spare. 1 a.m, neither of us asleep, so we're doing what men in this family do at 1 a.m. Staring at the kitchen, talking to the table. And out of the dark, he says, did Grandpa really quit? Yeah, I said. 2 years before the end. He came and told me himself. He said, "What did you say?" And there it was. 30 years I carried that door, and my son asked for it by name, so I handed it to him. All of it. The rain, the hat, the sentence. He was quiet a long time. Then he said, "So I got his face and your example." "Yeah," I said. "That's a lot to carry. I never asked you if you could." "You want to know what a man carries? Look at his kitchen at 2 a.m. Your thermos is on my shelf. Green one, dent at the bottom. I don't use it. I keep it where the light hits it. There's a coin in my pocket says 9 years on it. I don't show it to anybody. It's not for anybody. My son's duffel is by the door with everything he owns in it, and he'd rather carry it himself than set it down in front of me. 3 generations of luggage in one kitchen, and not one of us packed a word. We carry doors, Frank, yours, mine, his. The trick is, you can set one down by holding it open for somebody else. I heard him up at 6. I gave him till 7. A man deserves an hour to practice his face. He came in and sat down, and I poured him a coffee, and he took it in both hands, because one hand wasn't going to hold it steady, and he wasn't going to pretend otherwise. That right there is further than I got till I was 49. We didn't talk about the job. We didn't talk about Sarah. We argued about the radiator, knocking or ticking. He said ticking. It was the best argument I've ever lost. Then he looked at the table a while, and he said 4 words. "What time's the meeting?" 7:30, I said. And then I went to the sink and ran the water, because I was not going to cry in front of my son over a Tuesday. 12 chairs. I still put out the 12th. I just don't push it back anymore. He comes. Some weeks he says his first name and how his week went. Some weeks he just holds the chair down. Both count. Everybody lets it take what it takes. He still calls me Ray. I still answer. It's not forgiveness he's giving me. I want to be exact about that, because you'd want the arithmetic right. It's a next one. And you of all men know what a next one weighs. You asked me for one in the rain in 1994 and I couldn't lift it. So here it is, 29 years late. You came back fixed. I know that man. He has my face. He has my son's face. It was never the face that left, Frank. It's just the only part we get to see, so it's the part we punish. Same face. Different man. You taught me that was possible. I just learned it late, and I'm sorry. And the coffee's on at 7 if you want it. The radiator's knocking. Somebody's trying to get in. I'll get the door.